It's time to take a ride on the Steelers Afternoon Drive with our co-hosts, Alan Saunders and Zachary Smith.
Welcome back to another episode of Steelers Afternoon Drive. I am Zachary Smith. That would make that Alan Saunders. Alan, how are we doing?
Doing good, man. Good practice today. Fired up. Lots of stuff to talk about. Some of it good, some of it bad, some of it ugly, some of it funny.
Okay. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And most importantly, we get the trees behind you again, which is a big thing visually.
But different trees. If you're the very, very detailed members of the audience, I don't know what this is here, but it's cool looking. It's got some, I don't know. I just thought it was a better looking tree than the other one.
All right, yeah, test out different environments, see what people think of the backdrops. I think it's, Randy Tobias is always noticing literally everything that's going on in both of our shots. So I'm sure he'll point out what's going on in your backdrop today. So we'll see what he thinks of the trees today as opposed to in the past. But you said good practice. I actually want to start with injury stuff that can be updated upon, whether it's guys returning, guys that maybe got hurt during this practice and left early. Kind of the whole bunch of it. We saw Joey Porter Jr. return for the first time. He'd been out since and including the Friday Night Lights practice. We've talked about Alex Highsmith obviously missing some time. Mentioned yesterday Calvin Austin and still waiting word on that. Any type of updates with those guys?
Yeah, so Joey Porter Jr. did return to practice, but only did individual work today. And then Asezi Atomowo also returned to practice, and he did team drills. Had a nice stuff on a Caleb Johnson run for no gain in team run period. So he's back from that knee injury. Some guys that were maybe limited previously, like Ryan McCollum and DJ Thomas Jones, Keanu Benton, seemed like they were all full go today. Held out from today's practice, Calvin Austin, Calvin Anderson, Gareth Warren, Corey Trice, Dante Kent, who's still in that walking boot on his right foot or ankle, and Alex Highsmith. The only update we got on any of those guys was from Mike Tomlin on Alex Highsmith. Just said that it is a groin injury. He sort of didn't give a specific time frame. Doesn't sound like it's super serious, but it wouldn't surprise me if it cost him the preseason at this date in the calendar. I would say at least a week or two. And then two new injuries during practice today. Will Howard injured his hand or a finger on a quarterback center exchange. Left practice, got carted up to the locker room, I would assume for an x-ray, maybe get something set. Still being evaluated. Seems like it's his throwing hand, so that could be a big deal. Something's broken. That's multiple weeks. Skylar Thompson ran the third team, obviously, without him in there. And then Jonnu Smith, some walk off the field with a trainer at the very end of practice. He seemed fine. Mike Tomlin said it was some knee soreness, but it's less significant. Nothing I'm super concerned about 81, and I doubt he was going to play this week anyway. So for that, I wouldn't be too worried.
Man, it sucks anytime anybody gets hurt. But so I don't want to this to sound bad, but probably as bummed out as I've been about a QB3 getting hurt as possible. I wanted to see Will Howard ball in the preseason this Saturday, and that's very much up in the air now, and that sucks.
Yeah, in fact, I talked to him this morning about how excited he was to go play, put the uniform on for the first time, go play some football. You could kind of tell he was a little upset. Not just hurt, but hurt. If that makes sense, that this could be something that could take that away from him, and we'll see. At this point, I would be kind of surprised if he plays on Saturday, but we'll see how things go.
Right, and this is the one to me because I think. Well, obviously you have the third one, but especially with, the preseason being condensed to 3 games now, as it has been for a few years, I would assume you see more of Aaron in the second game, right? And then probably back to an opportunity where maybe Will would play more in the third if he were able to get out there. But this was, his time to shine, in my opinion, was this upcoming Saturday.
Yeah, I thought he was going to play most of this game. The way they structured practice today, Skylar Thompson taking the second team through the 2-minute drill and not Mason Rudolph, that kind of tells me that was supposed to be Will Howard. That the idea was he was going to run the second
Do you
team
think
2
they'll
minutes
add
ago
a?
today.
Do you think they'll add a quarterback if he can't play for Saturday, or just have Thompson just?
If he's not going to play at all in the preseason, yeah, I think they will.
Okay. But for Saturday specifically, you think they'll just kind of?
No, I don't think they have a problem letting Skylar Thompson play a half and
Yeah.
Mason Rudolph play a half. I don't think that'd be a problem.
Okay. Well, we'll stay obviously in touch with what's going on there. Keep you guys updated as we get information. But let's talk about what happened on the practice field then. I know that you had a bunch of notes and were kind of feeding it to me to make sure you didn't forget anything. But Alan, I think something notable here is we get an offensive win in 7 shots.
Not just a win, but a pretty dominant one.
Decisive win, yes.
A 5-2 win. That's the first one of those for the offense. They did win a couple earlier, but they were all 4-3, 4-3. They were going back and forth for a while. Defense won 2 in a row, demonstratively 5-2, 6-1. Now the offense punches back with a 5-2 win. Really nice day for Aaron Rodgers. 3 touchdowns, 1 on a back shoulder fade to DK Metcalf, 1 scrambled around and found Smith open on the side of the end zone in a broken coverage. And the last one, a sidearm throw through traffic to a diving Roman Wilson in the back of the end zone. Probably the best I've seen the old gunslinger look right there, just in terms of like the playmaking. Like he's not getting out of the pocket a ton, but moving around the pocket, finding a creative passing lane, finding a guy who wasn't really that open and just fitting it into a narrow window looked really good there.
Okay, let's talk about Roman Wilson. You just mentioned him right there, and I was having a lot of conversation on Twitter today about Roman Wilson, and like I even said in the tweet, like I don't want to make too much of a depth chart here. I get it, it's just an initial depth chart that's put out there. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that Roman would be 5th on the pecking order necessarily if they played a game, whatever. But it kind of coincides with how training camp has gone for him, in my opinion, based off talking to you, talking to everybody that covers the team, and what I saw from there, like definitively behind a guy like Scotty Miller. And I'm not I don't know if disappointing is the right word, but you need more out of Roman Wilson, or you would hope to get more out of Roman Wilson. That was kind of the only point that I was saying. Then he goes out and has his best practice. Probably, I don't know, you could probably include last year within that based off the way that it seems. So has his best practice. So I don't want to take full credit for this happening, but maybe he got on Twitter right before he went out there and saw my tweet. Then he walks down to the practice field, shoulder to shoulder with Aaron Rodgers, and has his best practice.
I think maybe we should be giving the credit here to Mike Tomlin, a little motivational. A little in the back there. I think
Mike Tomlin, whatever you guys think.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, either way. Roman had another nice catch in a team period. Cut a little out route, one at the left sideline. Was that Nick Herbig was on him for some reason? That one's a head scratcher.
Okay. Right.
He did have the last play of the first team 2-minute drill. Rodgers looking for him on a deep dig, and Brandon Eccles was all over him, breaks up the pass, pops up in the air, Juan Thornhill interception. I don't really fault Roman a lot for that play, but I do think it sort of highlights what has been the issue, which has been mostly a lack of separation. I think that's the thing that we've been missing. And when he gets some space, Rodgers buys some time, extends the play a little bit. Wilson's able to keep a route going and beat James Pierre to the back of the end zone. Gets a mismatch against a linebacker, gets some space, and is able to move up the sideline and make a good play. But against the top corners on this team, has not been able to create separation regularly enough. Has Eccles all over him. Might have been a hint of some pass interference there. I'm of the let him play mindset, so I'll call it good. But I think really a sort of microcosm of the good and the potential with Roman Wilson, and maybe also the area where it's not necessarily his fault, but he's falling short of kind of what the team needs out of that next wide receiver to go with Calvin Austin and DK Metcalf.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously Roman's got to stack days like this. And to your point, I will be curious, when it is the full repertoire of cornerbacks that are out there, that top level competition, can he continue to stack days like the one he had today? But good sign. And again, it's just one of those little things, man. Like watching him walk down with Aaron. I just felt like something was going to happen today because of that video. It's just the way that my mind works.
Let's finish up 7 shots here. Caleb Johnson ran right for a touchdown. Rudolph hit Galbraith, really nice tackle by Chuck Clark. I thought he had a great day today, just short of the goal line. Howard
Chuck
to
Clark
John.
did?
Yeah, Chuck Clark did.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very good. Howard to Johnson on a post over Cameron Cutchin for a touchdown. And then Evan Hell ran into a Jack Sawyer brick wall, tackle for loss, forced fumble. DeMarvin Leal picked up the fumble, returned it most of the way to the end zone, and then stopped and punted it the rest of the way. Full props for that one for Marv. Love that. But I thought Sawyer had probably his best day in the Steelers uniform today. A lot of extra opportunities for him with Alex Highsmith out, and TJ Watt doesn't take very many reps. So there was actually funny one time he's out there, and it was the second team. The whole second team goes onto the field, and he's standing there, and Eku Leota had come on, to be the second team, and they're about to snap the ball, and Sawyer's like, "Oh, I'm out. I'm off now." Oh, and he had to run out of the huddle. And it's like, no, buddy, you aren't the second team today. I thought that was kind of cool. He was really good. I posted a really funny video on Twitter of him beating TJ Watt and Nick Herbig in the get-off drill that they do at the start of practice every day.
Yeah.
It was the first time he won. TJ had some choice words for the youngster. I thought it was pretty funny. Just I thought a really good day overall for Jack Sawyer, who also I talked to today and said he's pretty fired up about this game on Saturday, getting to put that Steelers uniform on for the first time. These guys are very, very ready to go play somebody else at this point of the calendar.
Yeah, this is not, I promise this is not my Ohio State bias coming in here, but I'd say that Jack Sawyer was defensively the guy that I was looking forward to, much like Will Howard on the offensive side. Hey, Caleb Johnson was also in the Big Ten at Iowa, and I can't wait to watch him as well. But, I talked about...
Were you also really looking forward to seeing Trey Sermon and Cameron Johnston just for no reason whatsoever? You really were waiting for those guys?
I know that he doesn't necessarily need the preseason reps, but throw Cam Hayward out there as well. No, but I think, I mentioned Sawyer's approach to me and just how impressive how impressed I was with his just approach and him taking, wanting to work with TJ off to the side after his team period and stuff. And I think that, just everything I've seen kind of coincides with what I thought his approach to this. So, yeah, I can't wait to watch him in the preseason game. And I will say, again, going back to just the way that my mind works, I'm not saying I need my edge rushers to have, that big elbow brace, but it doesn't hurt if they do. Probably 2 points up in terms of the overall on Madden for wearing it.
I don't know if he hurt something or if he's just wearing it. I do want to ask him about it at some point. Is it like a Cowboy Bob Orton with the cast situation where he uses it as a weapon? I'm all for that if it is.
Wow, we're working wrestling in a lot recently. Yeah, on here.
I mean, that's 50-year-old wrestling. I don't even know if that counts. What else do I got?
I think it does.
All right. Where do we want to go next here?
Well, you mentioned to me.
Oh, actually, Cam Johnston, they did a team punt period today. It's the first time we've really seen the competition between Johnson and Corliss Waitman kind of come out. I thought it was really funny. Miles Killebrew was on the block side, so he was not acting as Johnson's personal protector, and he got through on a live rep, and he got a little too close to Cameron Johnston for Cameron Johnson's liking. Killebrew, his special teams captain, usually his personal protector. Johnson kind of went over and got in his face about it. I'm like, this is why you have an Australian punter right here. He's just like, no, I'm not some wilting specialist who needs someone to stick up for me. I'm going right over there. I'm going to say, you got too close, buddy. It was pretty funny for me. I just think it's non-kicker behavior from a kicker is always entertaining, and that's exactly what we got from Cam Johnson today. He looks great, by the way. Totally held hang time for days.
Okay.
I called it a competition, but I'm not really sure it's going to be one. I think Cameron Johnson's going to be this team's punter.
Is he a pretty big dude? I can't tell. Yeah, I was going to say he looks like he is.
I mean, he's not physically a large man, but he's jacked. Yeah.
I was just say, I mean, maybe since Sepulveda, the chance to be the most physical punter we've had, and actually somebody that could make a tackle if he had to.
Oh, he could definitely make a tackle if he had to. I have no question about that.
Yeah. You mentioned to me in team period, though, a couple interceptions that took place, Patrick Queen, Juan Thornhill. Just kind of wanted to like go over those plays because I think like anytime somebody sees interception on social media without like the full context of how they happen, they just think, oh, bad play by the offense, it's over. Wanted to get some more context on the way that those took place.
Yeah, we talked about the Thornhill one. That was off Wilson Eccles battle where the ball just hits somebody and pops up in the air. The other one, far funnier. We were talking to Scotty Miller the other day, and Scotty said, I asked him because the Steelers had quarterbacks last year who are known to extend the play, slow to get rid of the ball, to both of those guys. That's sort of what they're known for. Aaron has been the exact opposite, very quick to get rid of the ball. And so I asked Scotty how it's different for a wide receiver like this year compared to last year. He said, you got to get your head around. Like if you don't not precise in your routes and you don't get your head around, it's going to hit you in the face mask. That was a direct quote from Scotty Miller 2 days ago. And today, Connor Hayward did not get his head around. Connor was running up the seam. Patrick Queen was, I guess, like a pole runner in cover 2. I didn't really get a good look at the defense, but was chasing behind him. And Connor tried to turn around at the last second to catch a 100-mile-an-hour Aaron Rodgers fastball directly in the face mask, bounced off his face mask, right into Patrick Queen's breadbasket for an interception the other way. Not what you want to see, but hilarious nonetheless.
Well, that's definitely what the defense wants to see. I mean, ones that come that easy to them. Yeah, he was probably like, man, I don't know if I'm going to get one like this during the regular season. But
yeah, he caught it like it was an infant. Like it was like, oh, right here, I got 2 arms on it and all that.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I wanted that. So I like to, and I think you would say the same, highlight players that don't necessarily get a ton of buzz. Even if somebody's not going to ask about them, I feel like we should bring them up on here because the unfortunate reality is maybe we won't have an opportunity to do so when the actual season gets here. But Max Turleman, I think, is super interesting. You mentioned to me he's kind of doing the inverse of the Kenny Gainwell in terms of how he's splitting his reps between running back and wide receiver. But saw a good amount of tweets involving his name today. I don't know if it was just a today thing or maybe he was more noticeable today than he has been in past days. But what can you say about his camp so far?
His camp so far has been great. Today was the best day he's had. Looks really good out there in that live punt return period, covering kicks. He's working both as a returner and a gunner. He's working on kickoff coverage. He's working on kickoff return. And he's getting out there as a wide receiver, mostly with 3 still, but he is getting open. He's getting opportunities. And when you look at a guy who was a running back at Colgate and a cornerback at wide receiver to become a wide receiver in the NFL the next year, I said that wrong. Corner at Notre Dame, running back at Colgate, wide receiver in the NFL. Like, you would never look at this guy and know that he's never played wide receiver before in his life as a primary position before this year. I was standing in practice. There was like a youth football team or some youth group or something behind me, and one of the adults said, "Who is 34? He's awesome out there." And I'm like, "Yeah, you gotta learn about him." And then I said who it was, and there was another media member. I don't know who it was, someone I don't know very well. Who had, how do you spell his name? You better learn how to write it, man. He's making some plays. The second team 2-minute drill with Skylar Thompson leading. Pass to Turleman, pass to Turleman, pass to Connor Hayward, pass to Turleman, pass to Robert Woods in there at the 1-yard line. Like it was just all him.
Yeah.
And so I talked to Max after practice. He said he's really feeling confident. He understands his role in the offense. Playing mostly wide receiver, still lines up in the backfield sometimes. Like I said, about 80-20 receiver to running back. But like you can just tell that like this guy's a football player. He gets it. And he's starting to he's making his opportunities. He's not being given them. He's making them. And I think that's always fun. I think he is an absolute stone cold lock for the practice squad right now already. Yeah. There is no way this guy is not somehow part of this football team going forward. He's been way too good.
Yeah. No, I mean, I know that I'm saying it a lot with like any player that we talk about, but he'll be fun to watch in the preseason as well, just to see like, what all they even have him doing. So I'm excited to see. When we were talking about Roman, it kind of got my mind going on this player too. We talked about a guy that needs to stack days, and certainly Broderick Jones would fall into that category. I talked about, talking to some people and them telling me they felt like Sunday was a pretty good practice for him. Obviously, they were off yesterday, but I was curious to get your thoughts on what today looked like for him. If he had a pretty strong day on Sunday, how did he follow that up?
Really good. He was really good today. Very quiet day from Nick Herbig, who was over there most of the day. And I think that is, to me, the theme of this practice. So no Joey in the team periods. Jalen Ramsey got a vet day today. Very minimal TJ Watt, as always, in the setting. Very minimal Cam Hayward, as always, in the setting. Darius Slay didn't do 7 shots. He did the other team periods, though. But so you see the offense getting away from some of the best players in the defense and now suddenly having success. You see Broderick Jones getting away from Alex Highsmith and suddenly having some success. And I think, like, it is just that sometimes styles make fights, and maybe Alex Highsmith is just a bad matchup for Broderick Jones. And, he's got a great moveset. He's not like speed to power. Like, he'll ghost you, he'll spin you, he'll long arm you and then make you look stupid. I think there's something to be said for, like, we talked a lot about which is it? Is the defense really good or is the offense struggling? I think you got some insight into that today, because you pull some of those stars out of the defense. It's like, oh, here comes the offense. It's like, oh, well, now you know what was happening.
Is it like, has it been exclusively either Highsmith or Herbig that Broderick has seen?
I think it's been exclusively Highsmith. I think this is the first day he didn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, little technical difficulties here. Had to make a location change, but we're good. I think this is the first day Broderick won against anyone other than Alex Highsmith. It's been pretty much exclusively 56. Well, there was the one day they moved Watt over there, so that's not better, I really hope that Josh Allen plays in this game. I really want to see Broderick Jones go up against him a little bit.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, that would be a great test. Like, obviously he gets as good of a test as you can in practice every single day. But in terms of, like, outside opponents, that's definitely up near the top of the list in terms of competition. So that'd be great for him to get those reps. We actually had a question about Broderick that I think we can work in here. It's something I think me and DB have touched on briefly. It might have been during the SN Plus subscribers only, though, so maybe not everybody got to be privy to that conversation. But Infinity here said, do you guys think that, it's funny to use the word capable here, but do you think Broderick is capable of having a 2025 so abysmal that the plan to draft there should be franchise quarterback gets scrapped out of necessity to pivot to tackle again?
I mean, lots of things are possible.
Yes.
I don't think it's very likely, I think, is the best way to answer that question. Let me put it this way. Either if Broderick Jones is no better than he was the last 2 seasons, that will not happen. And I don't see how he could be much worse.
Yeah.
Now, him playing like that will have a bigger impact on the team because he has a less mobile quarterback behind him. But I don't see that happening. No.
I don't either. I understand where this question comes from, because everything that we've talked about was, about building this team to the position where you can drop the quarterback into the spot and hopefully be ready to go when that quarterback hits. And obviously, history tells us it wouldn't be in the rookie year, but, sooner rather than later, if that is the guy, he should be able to compete, just having the best environment in place for them. That left tackle is a big part of what that environment's going to be. So if Broderick is absolutely abysmal this year, I could understand why the question is being raised, but I think it'd be far more likely that they would, maybe take a tackle in the second round, and that guy would play right away, or that they would look for like a Band-Aid solution in free agency, like we see a lot of these teams sign. I know DB's brought up like the Jalen Moore situation, obviously, in Kansas City. Heck, like, could they be a team that ended up giving out like a Dan Moore like contract in free agency next year, if out of necessity? I think when you use, because the words out of necessity were used in this comment here, I think that would be what I could see happening more so. I'm not saying that I think that that's going to happen, but I would see them going a free agent tackle route before I would see them pivoting and taking a tackle in the first round, if Broderick were a disaster. So that's kind of where I'm at with that, as we lose Allen again, but we'll wait for him to come back.
Yeah, it's like completely implausible that they're going to go sign a long-term tackle in free agency, or that, somebody that, like, a trade. People don't make those guys never hit the market. That's why you got to pay what you got to pay to get a player like Broderick Jones, and that's why you got to take a chance on an athletic player like Broderick Jones, because there's 9 franchise left tackles and there's 32 teams that want them.
Yeah,
and like, you just. That's why Dan Moore is worth $80 million.
I was just going to say that's the example, right? I was going to use. Yeah.
But like, and so it's, they're going to have to, if Broderick Jones doesn't work out, they're going to have to use another first-round pick on tackle. It's not going to be next year.
Yeah.
I don't think there is a single plausible situation that I can see right now that will lead them to doing anything other than drafting a quarterback in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, this would be, I guess this would be the closest one to
it's it. Even hard to come up with implausible situations.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, is this even though we're saying that's not going to happen, is this the second closest to quarterback would be tackle for you if things go so disastrous?
Wide receiver. I have a lot more faith in Broderick Jones than I do in the options of wide receiver beyond DK Metcalf. The fan base's attitude towards Broderick Jones is very misplaced at the moment. He is not great, but he's not going to be awful. Like, he's just not. He wasn't awful last year. It wasn't awful the year before. I don't know why you would think he'll be awful now.
Yeah, I mean, the unfortunate reality is, like, these clips are all that a lot of the fan base see. The low lights of him in camp. And you consider who he's going against as well. I know he's going to go against very good edge rushers as well in the regular season. But, you're talking about, again, a low light against a, very good pass rusher, as the way that people are thinking his entire body of work has looked like up to this point. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Don't get me wrong, like, I wish there was more progress up to this point than what we've seen, but I can't say I'm necessarily surprised by where we're at in his career arc here.
No, not at all. This is what they signed up for. Like, I'm sure they would have liked for it to go faster, but the Steelers knew this is what they were getting when they drafted Broderick Jones. And there's still lots of time for him to figure it out. He's still a very young guy, incredibly athletic. The idea that he's already some bust or some player that they should be looking to, it's the whole conversation with Darnell Washington. Like, the Steelers do not want to do anything other than play Broderick Jones at left tackle for the foreseeable future. Like, that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. This Kevin asked, this was from yesterday's afternoon drive, so we didn't get to this yesterday. He said, do you think that it's possible that the DBs have looked so good because the wide receivers are not? What's your take, Alan? I guess he has one of my opinion. He just wants Alan's opinion on this.
Screw you, Smitty. Nobody cares what you think.
That might as well have been what Kevin said.
They come here to see me.
You're saying what the people are thinking.
No, because they're doing a really good job with DK Metcalf, who I know is really good. If they were just beating up on the rest of the receivers and DK Metcalf was torching them, I would start to get concerned. But Metcalf has been fairly pedestrian this training camp compared to what I've already seen him do on the field in NFL games. And that tells me the Steelers have a really good secondary.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's just all, confirmation, again, based off thoughts that we had already previously had. But actually, you brought up DK Metcalf in there. I feel like the one I mean, well, Calvin dealing with an injury. We'll see how quickly he can get back out there. But DK is certainly the most known commodity and one that we feel pretty good about within that room and what his role is going to be. But, he said has he looked good to you? Has he looked the part? Do you think that they're going to ask him to do more than what he was doing in Seattle within this offense? Do you think that there's pressure because of what they're paying him for that to be the case? Or what do you make of what you've seen from him so far?
I don't know that he needs to do a lot more than what he was doing in Seattle, but that's a lot more than George Pickens was doing here in terms of the roundedness of the role. I think George Pickens did a lot of the same thing over and over again. DK does a lot of different stuff. Screen game, quick game, slants. He's a great slant runner. And I think the connection with Aaron is still not there yet. Like, he still looks like by far and away the best Steelers wide receiver. But I'm just looking at plays and I'm like, DK Metcalf should make that. But those two just aren't quite there yet. It's going to take some time. It'll probably be even into the first part of the season before they really get like super clicking. But there's already been some eye-opening plays between the two of them that I think they're going to be really – I think DK's going to be really good.
Do you think I feel like a lot of the conversation we've had about him and that, what you were talking about in terms of the eye-popping plays, things that have stood out, it seems like a lot of them have been like within the red zone. I think that's certainly where that connection is going to shine. You mentioned the slants, right? Like a slant right on the goal line, going to be very hard to defend. But a lot of those passes over the top to, the back shoulder stuff, fade to the back of the pylon, which I know people complain about every time that they fall incomplete. But like, I think, that's certainly where I feel like, just from reading and the one day that I was there, that connection has looked at its best.
Yeah, the red zone, he's a monster. Short yardage, he's a monster. I think the downfield stuff will be the thing that is the hardest for them to get together on. No, for two reasons. One, because I think it's the longer the route, the more chances there are to not be exactly on the same page. I think the second thing is, I feel like if there's a part of Aaron Rodgers' game that is not the same as it was 10 years ago, the deep ball is probably the first place I would go. And teams are going to put a safety over him. No one is going to single up against DK Metcalf. So, like, it's going to have to be into tight windows if you're throwing it down there too. Whereas the underneath stuff, there'll be comparatively plenty of room, and it's a lot easier to get it in there.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, good stuff. Keep the questions coming. We appreciate them. Actually, too, I found a couple reviews, Alan. I kept saying that so this is completely on me and on nobody else. I have to take full blame for this here. But I didn't realize that I had to expand. I didn't remember this from before. So in Apple Podcasts, I have to go to the show at first and then go down as if I'm leaving a review, and then it shows them. I think before I was just like looking at where I would leave a review if I was myself, and it wasn't showing me the other ones. But I found where it shows the reviews again. So we've had two actually since that great one that we had gotten all those months back. That started off with 4 aspiring ball knowers from our guy Sakura. But so there's two. This one was from June 12th, so I apologize for just now getting to this. But actually I don't, because Mr. Zap here only mentioned Alan in the review. So kind of coinciding with the YouTube comment that we read earlier. Very informative podcast. Alan is knowledgeable about the game of football, has a great way of explaining the intricacies of the game. He also has a very grounded approach and tells it like it is. No bias whatsoever. This is what I'm here for. I don't know if I agree. And then Joe Zammo here said,
what are you disagreeing with about that?
Joe Zammo said, love this podcast. Best source for Steelers news and opinions. Been listening for about a year now. Listen daily for my Steelers fix, with a thumbs up from Joe here as well. You know what? So 35 reviews now. We're 5 stars still. No, there's not been a single one that is not a 5-star review.
You just jinxed it. Just jinxed it.
Please don't go do that out of.
Is going to go leave a 4.5-star review today just to get your goat, Smitty. Just to get your goat. Your goat's going to be gotten.
Well, all right. Yeah, based off the one YouTube comment and also Mr. Zapp's review here. Yeah, I mean, they're here for Allen anyway, so if there's a reason that we get a review that's not 5 stars, we know why it's the case, regardless of if I said that. But no, we appreciate the reviews. We appreciate the comments, all that good stuff. Thank you. Now that I know how to access those, it'll be much easier for me to get those, so be sure to leave them. But Alan, until tomorrow, tell the people they can find you.
Saunders _ PGH on X, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. Did not post on TikTok or Blue Sky today, but I will later, maybe.
Okay.
Probably.
Yeah, we said it was going to be
yeah,
you got to kind of until you really get into the groove. The first couple days of trying to get into the groove of it.
I feel like I'm in the groove on Instagram. I feel like I got there.
All right. Let's go.
Keep the postcards coming. What was today? Oh, a little misty, hazy view of the Laurel Highlands this morning.
Okay, so would it have not been applicable for the picture of me, you, and DB to be the postcard? Does it have to be the scenery? Because I was feeling like that was going to be the postcard for that one day.
But I had already done Daniel Tiger before we got to the Friday Night Lights.
All right. Yeah.
So it was already done for the day. I guess I could have done it the next day. But one does not send multiple postcards from camp in one day. Like, it's just not.
No, you're correct. Yeah.
No, it's one postcard per day. That is the traditional amount. So
yeah. Okay.
Maybe at the end of camp, I'll make a little collage of me, Ed and Brendan, me, you, and DB. Chris Ward is coming out next week, so we'll maybe we'll get
everybody gonna have their hand in the pile at some point. There, it's nice to see good variety.
Yeah. So we'll get a little collage going for the end of camp there. That'll be good.
There we go. Of course, I don't even know if Alan said it, but SteelersNow.com so he can get paid. Also sign up for SN Plus, $4. Also, it's been a while since we've got to update that ticker at the bottom there, so be sure to subscribe.
Somebody's been on there way too long. We gotta get a new name on there. Let's go.
Yeah, and also you don't want to miss the next SN Plus subscribers only live chat, because we're gonna be talking. We want to know your guys' opinion on when we should do it, but certainly gonna be talking about either wrapping up training camp, getting ready for the regular season, going through preseason stuff. Whenever it's going to be this month, we will certainly be having some actual football games to talk about. So let us know exactly when you want us to do it. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun because of the fact we're going to have actual football games to talk about. So let us know on that. Anybody for free can subscribe to the YouTube channel here, along with liking, hitting that notification bell. We are at 16,200 and Vance McDonald. I wanted to go Jericho Cotchery, but I'm pretty certain I used that the last time we were on 89. So
yeah, I mean, the one that comes to mind right away is Ernie Mills. I think I've used him before. I'm trying to come up with another one.
Oh, I got actually quite a few for 89, to be honest with you. But I don't want to say one and then take it from you. So we'll wait and see who else you come up with, and I'll throw a couple your way. Tight ends, honestly, is where my mind goes to.
Yeah, I was thinking like Matt Spaeth. He was at practice the other day. Mm-hmm. In fact, that was the day they ran the 4 tight end set, the 0-4, no running back, just DK and the 4 tight ends. And Matt Spaeth and Mark Bruner were on the sideline talking, and I was like, "You guys want to get in there?" Like, it appears it's a thing. They may need some depth. Go right ahead. I'm having a hard time coming up with another one here.
Sticking with the tight ends, short term. Pretty big free agent signing, and people were like, "Hey, if this guy can stay healthy." However, he was not able to stay healthy.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Ladarius Green. That's a good one.
Yeah. That was my guy. I was there. He had a 2-touchdown game against the Giants in 2015. Like, that's probably his best game that he had for the Steelers. I remember being there.
I forgot he was 89. I forgot he was 89.
Gunnar Olszewski was 89.
Gunnar?
Yeah. Geez. But anyways, assuming that's not going to be the answer for anybody else's favorite number 89. So hit us in the comments with your thoughts, anything we talked about today, question for a future episode, all that good stuff. And again, if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, wherever your podcast from, leave us a 5-star review and subscribe over there. Leave a question there as well if you'd like. I'll definitely be more aware and getting those reviews and talking about them on here. So we appreciate that. Appreciate all the support. And then you can find me everywhere, Zachary Smith, PGH. For Alan Saunders and myself, thanks for jumping in. Take another ride on the Steelers Afternoon Drive.